what it is, guys. Another episode of Analyzing, and today we got the round of 16 Champions League with the quarterfinal draw that just happened. We're gonna get into that, but let's start off with the review. Okay, the round of 16 started with Inter and Atleti. Alright, so in the first leg, it was a classic Simeone ball. Alright, sit back and defend. Arnautovic scored at the 79 to make it 1-0 to take it to Madrid. In the second leg, right, in the Wanda Metropolitano, it took a few minutes for Inter to get into the game, and once they did, it was like back and forth until like a set of diagonal passes from Inter led to Federico Di Marco's goal at the 33 minutes. So at this point, right after they score, I'm thinking Inter been playing better. They've been playing better these few minutes. I think they're going to end the game here. The Atleti fan base looked down. The players were probably too, but I was wrong. The opposite happens, okay? The players were not down. Atleti players get the ball 2 minutes after the goal, and they score with Griezmann's left curler, right? And that's when the momentum shits. The Atleti fans, they become alive. The players, they rejuvenate. And the Serie A leaders, Inter, they look panicked. Okay, they look scared. So Inzaghi, he dropped into a mid block and into a low block for most of the game to defend after, I think it was 2-1. So yeah, in aggregate for Inter, so they were trying to defend the score line. Rest of the game, Atleti, they're put in a rare situation. They have to attack to tie it up because it's 2-1 on aggregate. Force and Inter are giving them the ball. You know, this is not how Simeone plays, okay? This is not what Atletico de Madrid does. They made the most of it, though. They had shots. They had 11, and they had more possession. The Italians had 2 clear chances in the second half. One was like from Nicolo Barella. He had like a one-on-one, but he ran the whole half pitch. And then the second chance was Marcus Thuram's chance that he hit it over the bar, so it wasn't even close. And those are the 2 main chances I remember from Inter. The ball, he scores at the 87th minute to tie it 2-2 on aggregate, and the one that is buzzing. I forgot. Memphis, I want to say Memphis. And they want the winning goal, okay? They're buzzing and they want that winning goal. And Riquelme, not the Argentinian. I don't know. But Rodrigo Riquelme, okay, he was subbed on in the 71 minute and he misses a big chance at the 90+3 that goes above the post. Extra time. It was boring. And this has been like a reoccurring theme that extra time's just been very boring. And especially in this game, okay, both teams were fatigued. They don't want to mess it up because it's late. It's late in the game. If one makes an error, game's over, right? They're tired, so they know they're probably going to make an error because they're tired. They both played conservatively and nothing happened. So then we went on to penalties. And penalties, Oblak, he saves 2 straight penalties. One from Alexis Sanchez and Klaassen. Saul Niguez missed one for Atleti. And the huge one was by El Toro Lautaro Martinez, who takes the penalty and skyrockets it, bro, to the other damn side of the universe. It was a field goal type shot, Harry Kane, quarterfinal type shit, and it was just horrible, man. I don't know. When El Toro shot that, bro, I had my hand over my head. My hand's over my head, actually. And then just my mouth wide open, bro, waiting for a damn fly to get in there. I was like, what did my boy just do? That was horrible. What did he just do? But, hey, man. I don't know if it was, like, intimidation. It could have been. I think intimidation could have been a factor from the Athletic crowd. You know how they get. And just John Oblak, bro. Like, he looks big as shit standing next to that goal. Like, he's so big, and like he probably just thinks he's gonna block everything. And then after those 2 penalty saves, it was probably getting into El Toro's head. So I don't even fault him at that. People were saying, "Oh my god, like he's trash." Like, I don't know, bro. El Toro's like the lead goal scorer right now in Serie A, so I wouldn't call him trash. But I don't know. I think this one just got into his head. He's a great striker overall. But Atleti wins 2-1 in the whole game. In the second leg, but 2-2 on aggregate. So they move on with a 3-2 win in penalties. Overall, I think it was a really entertaining game. Both sides, surprisingly, at first were playing attacking football, which we don't see from both of them. And Simeone knew he has to score, so I think that's why he played attacking football. He knew he had to score, so that's new for them. And Inter, I think the most shocking thing they did was when they had the lead, they went really defensive. Now I know when you have a lead, you want to go defensive, but it happens a lot with managers that I see, and not just a lot of defensive managers. Like sometimes, though the logical thing is to defend, is to put all 11 players behind the ball when you're in the lead, sometimes I feel like it just doesn't work out, because what you're basically doing is you're giving the other team who wants a goal, you're basically giving them more bites at the apple to get another goal. That's basically what you're doing. So you're giving them opportunity to have a shot to make a goal. So that's just in my opinion. Like, obviously you want to defend, right? And you don't want to like get them on the counter. Like if they need a goal, they don't want you to hit them back. But not in my opinion. In my opinion, you wouldn't go a full low block, maybe a mid block a little higher, because you just don't want to go to that low block, because you give the opposition time after time to get a shot. And that's just my tactics, my view on it. But a lot of managers do that, and I just don't feel like that's the right thing to do, because I've seen it time and time that they'll score, especially if you go against a team who's used to that, who's used to just, we'll play against this low block like City, or heavy possession sides like Liverpool. Like they're just, I mean, not that much Liverpool, like City and old Barca, like this is what they do. They're used to this. So in my opinion, I wouldn't do that. They did and lost. Especially, and I think we'll have to go with the Griezmann scored, yeah. So it was weird, but the Rojiblancos, man, they deserved it in my opinion. Especially after halftime, they had more shots. Like I said, better quality of shots and chances. The XG was 1.25 compared to Inter's 0.57. The Memphis shot, Correa had a good chance, like at the 85th or something. The Rodrigo Requilme shot I was talking about, at the end above the crossbar. If he makes that, bro, at 90+3, the stadium's erupting. It's probably one of the greatest scenes in Champions League history. But he missed that opportunity, so sucks. And then Oblak save, the penalty saves, just a mix of things that I think the Rojiblancos deserve this game, and they go on to the quarterfinals to face Dortmund, which we'll get into later. But speaking of Dortmund, Ryan versus PSV, the first leg, right? The game finished 1-1 in Eindhoven, thanks to goals from Malin for Borussia Dortmund and Luke de Jong for PSV. I think the Dutch were unfortunate that they lost in this game, because they had a better XG at 1.58. They had more shots at 14, and that came back to bite them, as in the second leg it was basically the same thing, okay? But it's like the same type of play, but they even had more possession. They had a better XG and more shots. Closer in all three categories, though. Like in the first leg, Dortmund were closer in those statistical categories. I mean, they're farther from the statistical categories. But in the second leg, they were closer, because Eindhoven barely had 51 to 49%. XG was 155 to 1.5, and then the shots was 17 to 15. So it was actually pretty close, but PSV had the advantage in all of that. They couldn't take their chances again, right? And the German side did. So there was goals by Sancho at the 3 minute, and then Royce, who had a red card bet out to him one-on-one versus the goalkeeper to make it 2-0 in the 90+5. So I don't know, man. PSV, they just didn't take their chances, and at the end of the game, that's it. Football, you gotta make your chances. And even though they were better in all statistical categories, they just didn't make the shots. They didn't do what you had to do. Was the basic thing: score a goal. You could have 2 shots on target, but you score that 1 goal. Difference in the game. So 3-0, but Borussia, they passed 3-1 in aggregate. Porto versus Arsenal, right? In the first leg, the Gunners had all the possession in the world. They had like 65%, but they only had 8 shots and 0 were on target. 0. This Arsenal, who's been really close in the title race. I think right now they're in first place. really good in the Premier League. They had 0 shots on target versus Porto, bro. And in the 90+4 minute, they were caught lacking as Galeno scored a curler to give Porto a 1-0 win in Portugal. The second leg in the Emirates Stadium in London, Porto came out to defend. They slowed the game down. They had like 20 fouls. The Trossard scored a goal in the 41st minute to make it 1-1. Aggregate in normal time. Extra time again, nothing happened. So they go on to penalties. And penalties, Arsenal won 4-2. Misses by Galeno and Wendell. You can also say saves by Raya. Some people were like saying those were awful penalties, but I'm going to give more credit to David Raya because the goalkeeper sometimes has no chance to save penalties. They got like a 5% chance and he saved 2. So shut up. That's my opinion. You decide which one, but I'm going to give it to David Raya. That's why he got man of the match. 3 saves. I think 2 of them were the penalty saves, and I don't know if he saved one during the game. Probably did. You know, I'm guessing he did. So Porto, though, I'm going to give them credit. Okay, they are making it difficult. Arsenal struggles versus Portuguese teams for some reason. I think because their fans and the squad just undermines them because they're from Portugal, even though a lot of Portugal football players that come from the Portuguese league, what's it called? The Portuguese league just slipped my mind. La Liga Portuguesa, something like that. I forgot, but Portuguese league, a lot of football players that come from there are good, dude. Like, so Bruno, I think I've talked about this before. Bruno Fernandes, obviously Ronaldo, from Lisbon. Like, bro, like a bunch of good players come from there. So I don't know why, like, and they translate going to the Premier League. So I don't know why they're undermining them. Luis Diaz came from Porto. Like, bro, see, like, it's just, I don't know, weird, but that's what they did. And my boy, okay, 41-year-old Pepe. He completed 1 out of 1 tackles, 1 block, 3 clearances, 1 interception, 7 recoveries. Experience is key. This boy was everywhere, and he's 41 years old, still has that love for the game. Shout out my boy Pepe, right? Ex-Real Madrid player. That's why he's still playing football. But the Gunners, first time in quarterfinals in 14 years, the first time they qualified for quarterfinals in 14 years. And they got a hard matchup that we'll talk about later. Let's get into Napoli versus Barca. The first leg was in Naples as Lewandowski scored and Osimhen tied it up 1-1 going to Spain. In the second leg, right, Barca started off on the front foot. They looked well going forward. Surprisingly, they were going on the counters. Like a Barca team going on the counter, when you see that, bro, they only had 49% possession, and then Napoli had 51, which is not off balance. Like, it's not like, oh my god, they had all the possession in the world. But I mean, surprisingly, Barca not winning possession game and going on the counter, that's something you don't see every day. And that's where they scored their first 2 goals, the Fermin goal and the Cancelo goal. Great goals, by the way, especially the Cancelo one. We're going to talk about Lamine Yamal in a bit, right? But after the 2 goals, Barca dropped their level of play. Like, they just, I don't know, like, they just didn't play the same. And Napoli started getting in the game more and more, and then Ramani scored. And the game went back and forth. After that, Barca woke up a bit until Lewandowski made it 3-1 for the Spanish side. The Catalans had a better XG at 2.64 compared to Little Donkeys 1.31, and they had more shots, 24-14. So deserved win for Barca, even though I don't like them, but I'll be objective. So deserved win, and they move on to the quarterfinals on a 4-2 aggregate score. So let's talk about Lamine Yamal, right? The Barca's youngsters, which was Lamine, who's 16, and the center back, Pau Cubarsí, really stood out to me. Okay, I already said Yamal 16, and Cubarsí is 17. Let's start off with Yamal. Okay, Yamal on the right wing, technical ability, fire. He can read the game. Both skills were on display on the Cancelo goal, where he on the counter attack and he got the ball and he controlled it, and then he passed it to Rafinha. Rafinha misses it, and then Cancelo obviously gets it. But he created 2 chances in this game. He completed 3 dribbles, the most in this match. He can do everything. Like I'm saying, like, he's got technical ability, like just the passes he makes, the skills he got at 16, the cuts he has. Like, bro, it's like at 16 he has all this, bro. I think he's properly hyped. Okay, I think he's probably hyped. People don't call him the next greatest thing. Like some people say Messi, but obviously that's gonna happen all the time because these people are insane. But I think what most people are saying is that he's just the next. He's a great upcoming player. It could be a real game changer for Barca, for the club, and I think that's true, man. I think he's properly hyped. He's a great player coming up. That's when I would see him. I think what most people are saying was like he has really good skill and everything, and he does, man. Me watching him, I'm like, oh damn, he's like really good for like he has this talent at 16. Now imagine if he develops that, gets more mature. Obviously, he reads the game pretty well, but you could read it better. He's 16 sometimes. He makes these challenges. Like he had a yellow card during the game, and this challenge wasn't a proper challenge. Like, why are you challenging him at the 50th minute? That's where the game IQ kind of falls down, but he can improve on that. So he's only 16. So we give him a chance, bro. Me praising Barca, bro, I'm subjective, bro. And it's just another product of La Masia. La Masia, you know what they bring, bro. And we're going to talk about Paul now. Pau Cubarsí, who's the left center back. He only has 9 games in La Liga this year, dude. Only 9 games. And this was his first game in the Champions League. This is the first game I see him play, and he played pretty well. He had 3 tackles, the most in this game, 3 out of 3, 5 clearances, 5 recoveries. He's a strong dude. He's pretty tall. I think he's like 6 feet. I mean, like for a center back, he's like Sergio Ramos, so he's like around that height. Most center backs are like 6'4", but to me, he looks strong. He's technically not bad. Like I wouldn't say he's a liability at the back, but I wouldn't say some John Stones that can get the ball and dribble up the field as a center back. Like, nah, he can't do all that, but he could get it. He could be composed, pass it, move on. Like a Barca player, just where everyone's technically sound and they can pass the ball. As a defender, man, like, what was I saying? He could dribble, right? He can also read the game. The game. That's why a defender. That's what you need. That's what I was trying to say. For a defender, that's what you need. You have to read the game. Xavi, a good example was in this game. Xavi had his high line, right? And it's been getting exposed this year. And in this game, Cubarsí, he was in the right place in the back line every time. Like they caught the Italian Cup offsides like 4 times, dude. 4 times. He was just in the right spots. He was reading the game well. And I gotta give him credit for that. He looks pretty good. I wouldn't say he's the next upcoming great defender. Not right now from what I've seen. Like I just seen that he's a good defender. And like at 17, he got all the skills. If he improves, he could be really, really good. But let's see what happens. And as much as I ain't like this club, I give it respect, bro. And I give it respect to La Masia specifically. All right, La Masia is the best football academy in the world, and they're still producing. Much I don't like to say that, but I say the facts, and the facts are what I see. We've seen what they've done in the past, what they're doing right now. La Masia produces, so I don't give the credit is due, but I still don't like the club. I still don't like them. No sir. Let's move on to City versus Copenhagen. Let's get in the second leg because the first leg I already reviewed that as they won 3-1. And the second leg pretty much it was a replica of the first leg. It was also 1-3-1. City had 70% possession like we expected, but Copenhagen, they played similar from the first one. Chances, they had 12 shots to 11, but the quality of City, I mean, it just showed, but obviously, we know they're the better team. This is their easy round of 16 matchup they always have, and they move on 6-2 on aggregate. Real Madrid versus Leipzig. The first leg we won 1-0. In the second leg, we struggled a lot in the beginning of the game. Leipzig made it difficult on us. Ancelotti's first half tactics were not it. They had us struggling. Defensively, we gave up like 20 shots, 4 on target. So Leipzig could have had more goals. But we Madrid, we're Real Madrid. We somos los blancos, so out of nowhere, we just score on a counter with that Jude and Vini connection. That was beautiful. I love the way they understand each other. Jude goes all the way in the pitch. He sees, Vini sees him, he cuts inside, Jude sees that, boom, goal. Great. Beautiful. That's what we need, bro. That was nice. And then the Orban obviously scored 3 minutes later, so it finishes 1-1. But we hold on and move 2-1. I didn't really like that, okay? I didn't really like how we really struggled versus Leipzig. I know we have a lot of injuries, but if we play like this, like how we played in the second leg, actually both legs, if we play how we played against Leipzig in the next rounds, we are getting eliminated, bro. You can't be playing like that in the Champions League, especially in our level, bro. Especially con nuestra jerarquía, bro. Jerarquía, we can't play like that. That's not. So we gotta raise our level of play. Let's switch off to PSG versus Real Sociedad. Is in the first leg, PSG won 2-1, and the second leg, the Parisians advanced to the quarterfinals 4-1 on aggregate as they beat the Spanish club 2-1 in the second leg. Braced by Kylian Mbappe, he showed his skill, he showed his pace and class in both goals. Right now, in my opinion, Mr. Kylian Mbappe, the Frenchman, he's the best player in the world. Best player in the world, just all around. He's a goal scorer. He could play. He could dribble like a winger. He can play in the wing. He can play striker. He can hold up play, link up play. Like he could just do everything. Mr. Kylian, like a header. Like Kylian Mbappe, the best player in the world right now, in my opinion, overall. He has to go to Real Madrid this summer. All right, I'm gonna say that again. He has kept us waiting for years. And if he doesn't join this year on a free, the offer is gone forever, and he's never joining. No pressure on you, Kylian. But if you ain't join this summer on a free, bro, you're never coming to the club. That's the last chance. That's it. Join the club, bro. Come on, join the club, man. You're a fan. You're a Ronaldo fan. Join the club. Andale, no seas así, Kylian. But let's see if he does or not. Obviously, it's the whole conspiracy. I mean, the whole. I really forgot the word. The whole dilemma or scenario, story of him being on a free. Let's see if he actually comes with us. Bayern versus Lazio. On the first leg, they lost. Yeah, Lazio beat Bayern 1-0. And what's crazy though, in the second leg, Bayern won 3-0 versus Lazio. And like I predicted, okay, I gotta give myself props. I said, go back and check the episode, I said, all that unacceptable. First leg was horrible, and I said, but I think the Bavarians are gonna win 3-0 and progress. And that's exactly what they did. They progressed 3-1 on aggregate as Harry Kane scored a brace and Mueller scored a header in Bavaria to make it to the quarterfinals. They improved from the time at that time to this time, and the desperate Die Rotten, right? They showed up in the second leg, 60% possession, 3.55 in XG, 24 shots, 7 of them on target, which is not that good. They probably had more on target, but 24 shots they were getting in the game. They play like this, and they can improve more. Like I said, only 7 on target. They can way improve more. Y'all know the squad, man. The squad is built. This squad is very good. I know we're going to get into that, but the squad is very good. Jamal, Musiala, Harry Kane's the lead goal scorer right now. He's like 30 goals. He could probably break Lewandowski's for 41, I think. Yeah, it's 41 goals in the Bundesliga. Harry Kane could probably break that. Leroy Sané's striving. Mueller's pretty good right now, starting as the cam. Because I'm surprised, bro. He has Musiala like on the left wing, and they have Gnabry on the bench. But he's brought Kimmich and Goretzka back to the side, and it just looks better, bro. And they got De Ligt. Not Kim and Jay playing, but De Ligt playing with Eric Dyer. It looks pretty good, so let's see what they do. But speaking of the squad, bro, okay. This buys Thomas Tuchel more time as a Bayern manager, okay? Though we know he will leave in the summer because they already, they already brought that out. It was already came out, made public. I'm just saying, man, he got more time because if they lost this game, he would have been fired before they got to the locker room, bro. No way you could get out of the round of 16 to Lazio right now if you're a Bayern, bro. So he got saved. He got more time because if they lost, he would have been sacked. He would have been sacked straight up. So you saved yourself right there, Tuchel. But okay, Bayern. last time, I mean, I'm probably gonna talk about this in the predictions, but one of the last games, by the time of this recording, the last game was against Mainz last Saturday, and they beat them 8-1 in the Bundesliga. Okay, I don't know what's fired them up recently. Maybe it's that narrative that they're trash. I forgot one of their players said that like maybe I forgot one of their players said that though, that like most years Bayern play that way too, but it's just Leverkusen being really good. He's first place with 0 losses. So that's why, and you know how Bayern are second, but it's just Leverkusen being really good and Bayern being second. So I was like, people think they're trash because we're not used to that. But reality is Leverkusen being really good. And then Tuchel not playing his big guys, that narrative shaping up. I think that's fired up the players, man. They fired up, said, no, we got to play better. And it looks like the Bayern is coming back. So we'll see. Now let's go on to the quarterfinal predictions. Speaking of the same team, Bayern versus Arsenal. Like I was saying, bro, Bayern have been up to their standards all year. But, like I was saying recently, versus Lazio, versus Mainz, if that Bayern shows up, City have a hard time beating that team. When Bayern is in full effect and they got their whole squad playing well, City would have a hard time beating this team. And if Arsenal, like, they've been great in the league. No one's taking that away from them. But now in the UCL, they struggle versus Porto. I gave my credit to Porto. Okay, but Arsenal should have beat them. Or they should have beaten them better, handedly. But, and you know Porto and Bayern, 2 different classes. So if you struggle versus Porto, how are you going to struggle versus Bayern? Different class. Okay, they're just different teams. I know the Gunners are my dark horses, okay? I know that. But I chose the Die Rotten to win it all. And I'm sticking with them to progress on to the semis and to go win. I don't care. I'm saying that they're going to win. Got better team, better players in Arsenal in my opinion, more experienced. I'm going to say people are like, oh, you're a better team, but they're in first place. Bro. Striker, Harry Kane's better. I think Jamal Musiala is better than Odegaard, in my opinion. Maybe on defense now, because Saliba and Gabriel is pretty good. Partnership right there, and Declan Rice. But Mueller, dude, I think Rest's going to all be better. But I just think Bayern overall better and more experienced for sure. Second leg in Bavaria, Arsenal's players, they never seen that, man. They never seen no Champions League game in the Allianz Arena. It's my first time experiencing that. So I think Bayern just going to pull it off, and they're going to go to the semis. First leg, Bayern win 3-1 and move on to the semis. Real Madrid versus City. Okay, as a Madridista, I didn't want to draw City or Atleti. Everyone else was fair game. I don't care. But in the 2 teams, I did not want to draw City and Atleti. And we got City, bro. Like a City, because they're the favorites. They're really good. We know this. And los rojiblancos, because they just giving us like problems this year. Yeah, we beat them in the final, the Supercopa de España, but they're the only team that beat us in the league. They beat us to get us out of La Copa del Rey. So it's like, I don't know. They've just been giving us problems this year. So I didn't want to face them again at a knockout stage. But we didn't get them. City, they're just, they're City, bro. They're just dominant side. I know Liverpool gave them a game on Sunday. But we ain't got the pressing game like the Reds, okay? And it was an emotional game. And like they have their rivalry and everything. So it was just... City weren't at their best at that game, but when City's at their best, bro, we know what they can do. But what Real Madrid does do, what Los Blancos do have, is we got a midfield. We got forwards that can for sure score, okay? Especially versus Man City's defense, as we know they have a high line, and that leaves them exposed a lot. So we can attack that with our player, with Vinicius being very fast, Rodrigo, Jude, Valverde. Valverde got motor for days, homie, for days. Camavinga got motor for days. Like, we can expose that for sure. But that's the same problem we have. Same problem we have on our defense, their defense. Okay, I trust Dani Carvajal. Okay, I do. But he's getting older. Rudiger did well versus Haaland last year. especially in the first leg, but that didn't matter because then we lost. So you know how that went. Furlan Mendy's on and off. So is Nacho. And he's not that great, in my opinion. Nacho's not that great. Like, yes, he's the captain because he's been there forever. But to me, Nacho's not that great of a defender. He comes up at times. I think he's a great backup. When you need to plug him in, he's great. But starter, I know we're injured, but like starter, I don't know, bro. Speaking of injured, our injured back line, that whole thing with Alaba, Eder out, and then we got Lunin and Kepa as our goalkeepers. They're not bad, especially Lunin right now. He's doing pretty good these last games, but versus the I was in the league, okay, bro. Versus the Citizens, a whole different game. Now we should have Eder Militao and Courtois by the end. By then. But how fit? Like the question is, how fit are they gonna be at that time? If they barely come, because supposedly Ancelotti is saying that they should be by beginning of April, right? That's next week would be the UCL. How fit are they gonna be to play in a damn UCL game versus City? Like I don't know. Both of them are off torn ACLs. Now I know Courtois is a goalkeeper, so that'd be easier probably to put him in. But Eder Militao, like I don't know, bro. I don't know how fit he's gonna be, so I have questions. It hurts me. It really, Madridista, hurts me. I know we're Real Madrid. We're the kings of the UCL. But I think our injuries, man, from the back line, they're going to catch up to us. And they haven't caught up to us in La Liga. We have like the least conceded goals. But I think in the UCL, when you play this level of quality teams, it's going to catch up to you, bro. I think City, they're going to move on to the semis. The first leg in the Bernabeu is going to be a draw 2-2, but I think overall City's gonna progress. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to betray our team, bro, but just looking at the reality, and the injuries are the reality. I think we could make a miracle and outscore City, but that's gonna be very difficult. Remember, high scoring games, it's gonna be very difficult to outscore City, so that's why I have it at that, man. I'm sad, but here's what it is. Let's see what happens. I hope we'll upset though. Hope we do. Atleti versus Dortmund. Personally, I wanted to see an Atleti versus Arsenal draw. Their styles would have been great, to be honest, bro. I wanted to see how a young, styles make fights. Styles make great fights, and I wanted to see that. Very different. See how obviously Arsenal's possession and attacking, and they're young, and then Atleti defensive, Simeone ball, low block. Let's defend. Let's go on the counter. I want to see how a young Arsenal team would adapt or react to a Cholo's tactics and shenanigans, pushing the game to the brink, fighting them, hitting them, mind games, like all this stuff. I wanted to see how a young Arsenal would react and adapt to that. But we got Dortmund versus Atleti, which is not bad, but I would say it's a poor man's Arsenal and Atleti because Borussia, BVB, they also play attacking football, but I think they got less quality than Arsenal right now. The German side, also versus PSV, they struggled. And in my opinion, they're pretty lucky to have passed. I think Griezmann and La Liga side, they're going to be better, and they will be better. So they'll move on to the semis. And I say they win the first leg 2-1 in Madrid, and then they'll sit back at the park and win 1-0, bro. I can see it. Like, they'll probably score off a counter or something. They're going to have a low block, defend the whole game, make Dortmund struggle, and then they're going to, like, get a counter or something, like, at the 70th, and then call the game's over. And then they're going to pass on. Like, what would it be? 3-1 on aggregate, and Atleti would be in the semis. PSG versus Barca. Okay, I think this side of the draw is favorable. I think any of PSG, Barca, and Atleti, they can beat each other up. All of them could beat one another very hard. Okay, whoever wins out of that is going to the final. I think both teams of PSG and Barca are pretty even. Pedri's supposed to be back by March, so that boostings up Barca's midfield. By the end of March, my bad. By the end of March, so that boostings up their midfield. I don't think personally Xavi's a bad manager. We know he's leaving at the end of the season. He plays the Barca way, so I don't know why they're hating on him. Like, that's all they play. That's how they always play. He plays the way they've always played under Pep and Johan, Cruyff and Rijkaard. Like, they play the same thing. The only thing that Xavi has is that high line, which he should eliminate, like in general, but especially in this tie versus Mbappe. And Mbappe is the reason I'm choosing PSG. He's a game changer. He's the difference in close ties like this. I like Kubarasi, like I was giving him praise, but he's a 17-year-old. I don't know if he's going to be consistent. Going against, and he did well against Osimhen, but going against the best player in the world right now, that's a different beast. That is a different beast. So I'm taking PSG to move on 3-2 in the first leg in the Parc des Princes, and they'll move on to the semis. PSG will. Alright, that was the end of the episode, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Be on the lookout for more episodes to come. The semis. This quarterfinals is I'm really intrigued to see what's going to happen. A lot of people say it's the best quarter leagues finals draw ever. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. We'll see how the games go. I think they're going to be exciting games. We'll see y'all in the next one. Deuce.